This is FSD Beta 11.4.9, and for this drive I'm going to have Autosteer enabled and FSD Beta turned off. I'm also going to rotate the camera and show this is the grip I'm going to maintain on the steering wheel. And the purpose of this drive and this video in general is I'm going to do a route twice, once with Autopilot and then once with FSD Beta, in order to try and better compare the nags between the two systems. I personally feel like I don't get nagged that much more than usual, but again, I also keep a pretty firm grip on the steering wheel. So I'm going to start driving. I guess I can't extend the screen when I'm... So I have admittedly not used just regular Autosteer in almost 2 years. Since I've been in the FSD Beta program, I've used FSD Beta for basically the last 2 years, since October 2021. I have actually gone through and I've disabled the automatic lane changing, and I've disabled the traffic light and stop sign control. Enabling those two things would have made it like enhanced autopilot, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted as close to base autopilot as possible. So I am going to engage the system. My eyes are on the road. Now, when I drive, I typically drive with a baseball cap and a pair of glasses. And what I will do as part of this drive is I'm going to try and do three things. I'm going to... So here we might get an audible warning because there's construction. Construction cones almost always trigger an audible warning if your eyes leave the road or something like that. So I'm not going to count this one because that's to be expected. But while I'm driving, I'm going to try and do 3 navigation changes. And see if I get any audible warnings in the process. And again, I'm going to do this twice, once on Autosteer and then again on FSD Beta. And then as I'm doing it 3 times because the first time I'm going to do it with my baseball cap and glasses on. The second time I'll take the baseball cap off. The third time I'll take my glasses off. And then I'm going to reset to 1 and do it again with FSD Beta. I do expect the experience on Autosteer to be a little bit different. And that's part of why I'm doing the video, is because I expect to have to be engaging and disengaging repeatedly, because an Autosteer, a basic autopilot vehicle, does not have the ability to do automatic lane changes and things of that nature. Although I probably could, right? Yeah, okay. So going forward after that one, I'm going to disable autopilot and re-engage it after each lane change. Well, for each lane change. And if anybody wants to laugh, just if you're watching this going, holy cow, he doesn't know how to use autopilot. Again, I've been on FSD Beta for 2 years, so this is technically an autonomous downgrade for me. So once I get on Airport Road and then I get past the first traffic light, I will try and course correct to another road. And I'm going to be trying to be as safe as possible. I'll have bookmarks in the description below. And just run the video back at twice the speed. So that boop boop is because I was staring at the screen. I was trying to figure out why I was not going very fast, and it's because when I engaged autopilot I was at 34 miles. Though an argument could be made it's because I engaged autopilot on an unsupported road. But we'll call that 1. And basically what I'm going to do is like 2 circles or something. I'm going to do Airport Road. So if we zoom the map out a bit here. So the blue line is Airport Road. This line up here is Turkey Creek Road. And then this one over here is Sydney Road. And I'm just going to do circles around Airport Road and Sydney Road probably at least once for the rerouting that I'm going to be doing. To try and demonstrate, you know, that to me it doesn't seem like it's nagging that much worse. So we're going to say end trip. We're going to plot a line here. No, you know what? We're going to do it over here. No, not there. Here. That's better. All right. So that's 1 replotted. And again, I'm wearing my hat while I'm doing this. So I'm going to increase the speed limit by 5 because nobody drives the speed limit. And again, I'm trying to keep a firm grip on the steering wheel on the left-hand side. And I've got the steering wheel torqued down slightly. And I'm not going to manipulate the map while I'm on Turkey Creek Road because there's currently construction on that road. And it'll mess with the test because, again, construction cones and barrels and stuff are going to trigger an audible warning when you take your hand off the wheel or do anything weird. That's an environmental one that you should expect it. Right? Like here, if I were to like let the system do its thing, I could see it giving an audible warning because there's a bunch of construction barrels. But again, I've got a grip on the wheel. And we're not going to stop because we're on auto steer, so that's me disengaging and making a left turn by hand. Away we go. So I'm going to engage it. I'm going to expect an audible warning about here. Like 3, 2, 1. Maybe? No? Okay. Normally the cones trigger an audible. So I will admit, the thing on the bottom says auto steer speed limit is restricted to 50 miles an hour. I don't know why. Again, I haven't used it in 2 years. It may be because it's limiting based on construction. It may be limiting based on the fact that speed is 45. I don't know. The main purpose of this video is audible warnings and the fact that people are saying, oh, you can't look at the screen too long, you know. So there's going to be a left turn here, and then I'm going to turn it off, and then plot a new route back onto Airport Road. Well, actually, I'll take my hat off and then plot the new route. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm making a left turn with auto steer, which means I have to disengage, and I have to turn manually. take my hat off and re-engage. This time we're going to say end trip. And okay. So it's possible that my hat, well, okay, that's not really fair. Either it's the taking off of the hat, or I engaged it on an unsupported road. I don't know which of the two that was. We're going to say here. Because what I want to do is get to the traffic light. Okay. Increase the speed by 1. So, okay. I guess Autosteer is limited to 5 miles over the speed limit on city streets. So for science, I'm going to come up here and go to lights. And I'm going to say on, and then off, pull that down. Do that again. Lights, auto, down. No audible warnings. Interesting that it's stopping for the red light, despite the fact that I have all those features turned. Okay, so that one's on me. That one was on me. I was curious to see what it would do on Autosteer when I was approaching a red light with all the stuff turned off, and I guess in this case, for me, it tripped a hey, you're not paying attention when I was approaching the red. I know it's green, but there's a semi-truck in my way. Alright. So now I'm going to say end trip. And I'm going to get around these two curves. So now, I'm going to take my glasses off, and I'm going to engage the system. We're going to count to 5. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Is there an audible warning? No. Alright. So now, we're going to do it again. Same thing. There's a plot for Sydney. There we go. Alright. So I think at this point we're up to 3 or 2. No, I think we're 2 audible warnings, and then that one screech for the stop. You're about to run a red light. So again, we're going to say car. No, that's not car. Car. Lights on. I didn't hit on, did I? On. Car. Lights. Auto. stop sign, so I'm going to disengage for the approach of a stop sign. Engage. There might be an audible for the construction cones, might not be. Here, I bet you if I push this button and try and turn the lights off and on again, we could get an audible. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. It's going to screw with the results. So I'm going to hit the brakes to disengage autopilot because I'm going to have to make this left turn by hand. Now there you go, you turn your blinker on. Man, it's amazing what you can do when you communicate with those things. Alright, so now we're going to say end trip, and for safety reasons I'm going to put my glasses back on again. Now, what is the correct way to manipulate the map with autopilot? Well, you can move it around as long as you're keeping your eyes on the road in the process, right? So like if I wanted to go back to Airport Road, we go over here, say target, shablam, there we go, right? But the way that in an ideal scenario, what you should be doing is trying to be as hands-free as possible, right? Hands on the wheel as much as possible. And in that scenario, actually, you know what? It's in frame. So I'm going to show just how little pressure I apply to the steering wheel. So I'm going to remove my hand from the other side of the wheel, and we'll let the blue thing pop up for a little bit here. Might take a minute. And I'm hoping it does blue and not go straight to an audible. Come on, buddy. Blink for me. You know, the worst part is I could probably take my eyes off the road and it would make it start blinking blue, but that's not the point. Okay, so apply slight turning force to the wheel. So it's on frame. There, that's it. One finger, just a little pressure to the wheel, shablam, it's gone. You know, if you're not able to apply that little amount of force to the wheel, honestly, I would create a service ticket with Tesla and be like, hey, I don't think this thing is registering torque properly. Because that was not, like, I didn't even wiggle the wheel, right? I just, like, pushed into the wheel, like, a little, right? So, in terms of hands-free navigation, right? You push the right scroll wheel in for the voice assistant. Navigate to TD on Alexander Street. there's my destination. Right, so again, I'm going to hit the brakes here because this light is red. And I'm on auto steer. Nobody's coming. I should have just started the whole thing here. Yeah, whatever. TD Bank is easily identifiable by voice. Screen now. Alright, so again, I'm going to take my hand off the wheel and let it show the put your hand on the wheel thing, unless I get too close to the cyclist and the hand goes back on the wheel for safety. You know what? Hands on the wheel, and I'm going to base autopilot this thing into the other lane. Back on again. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take my hand off the wheel. And we're going to let the put your hand back on the wheel thing show up here. Well, okay. This is a construction zone. So it's either going to boop boop at me because it sees a cone and my hand isn't on the wheel, or it should give me the thing at the top. We'll see what happens here. So, apply slight turning force. Again, that's it. If you find yourself having to apply more force than that, I genuinely feel like whatever sensors in your car are detecting pressure on the wheel is messed up. I'm driving. I have to actually get over there. I'm not going to go to the light and turn. I'm going to take a back way in because I'd rather do that. Holy shit, that's a big ass pothole. Should have turned up the light. Alright, well, it's not going to be quite back to square one, but I'll just park over here. Alright, so now we are going to turn these things back on. right? There's a lot of things you got to acknowledge to turn the system on. Now, I've already read those things. I've already agreed to them, blah, 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 blah. But, you know. Yeah, that should be good. All right. So we're going to pull that down, and we are going to navigate to here again. And we're going to put my hat back on. Alright, now for giggles, I could probably turn the system on now. Okay, so I don't trust it in parking lots, but I'm recording, so why not? So we're going to turn the system on. See what it does. Does it get out of the parking lot without causing an accident? This is not a stop line. Oh, you heard me. That's so nice. This is still not the stop line. There we go. Right on red. Okay. So we've got the destination in. The main difference between Autosteer and FSD Beta, the main difference between Autopilot and FSD Beta is there's going to be a lot less engaging and re-engaging of the system. But the navigation mechanics and stuff are all still the same. So a bit of braking there because it's being cautious about that guy trying to merge in. I can't blame, you know, would I have done it? No. Do I blame the car for doing it? No. I'm manually increasing the speed limit because it doesn't understand what a end construction zone sign is. Should be looking into changing lanes from right to left. So again, right now I've got both my hat and my glasses on. So we're back on the straightaway. So with glasses and hat, I'm going to end trip and replot for here. Beautiful, that's what I want. And we're going to let it ride. And I'm not just keeping my eyes focused straight ahead. Occasionally I'm looking left, occasionally I'm looking right, occasionally I'm looking at the screen on my phone that I'm recording with. Oh, you know what? Shit, I meant to bring the phone. Oh well. I have a phone-like thing that I was going to use and put it to the side of my face to see if that would test, but I forgot that at home. But the point is if you're using the system properly, it does not fuss at you. Right? This intersection, I expect to disengage FSD Beta because I don't think, because it's raised, I think it's got issues seeing left and right. There's nobody behind me, so it might work. I honestly don't know. I don't expect it to, though. If there's somebody that pulls into on my right side, it blocks visibility and it can't see whether or not there's oncoming traffic. There's a pickup truck you gotta wait for. We're gonna wait for the pickup truck. He's turning. You know, if you had your blinker on, I could tell you were turning. It was gonna pull out in front of a truck, but I felt like the truck was going straight because he didn't have his blinker on. So FSD Beta could have made the maneuver, but the other human did not communicate. Whatever, it's over. So I could have made it across the intersection because the other truck was slowing down and I could have gotten out in front of him, blah, blah, blah. But the other driver did not have their turn signal on, so I did not know how to interpret what they were doing, and I thought FSD Beta was pulling out in front of them, which might have caused an issue. However, they were in fact turning and did not have their turn signal turned on. If there's one thing I love about FSD Beta, it uses them turn signals. So this intersection here, I also don't expect FSD Beta to work on. I found that when you have elbow turns like this, it doesn't like them. Sometimes this one works, and sometimes this one does not work. So we'll see which time this is today. I would wait on oncoming traffic, and now I would start turning. Any day now. Now we have to wait. There we go. Okay. Like I said, it doesn't like elbow turns. Alright, so end trip. We're going to take my hat off again. And apparently bump the camera. And we are going to again plot over here. See here? No, can't be that side. It has to be the other side of the road. want that. So can we do like here? Yeah, that's what I want. Alright. So, no audible warnings. And without my hat on, we're going to do lights on, down. My lights are on. Lights, auto. Actually, when this light turns green, it's going to highlight one of the things I don't like. When the system does not have clear visibility of the light when it turns green. So when this garbage or recycling, I don't know, when this truck in front of me starts moving again, I will not accelerate forward as fast as I would like because it's waiting to see the light be green. So, okay. I accidentally disengaged it. That's on me. Because I needed to get going before the truck behind me gets upset, right? So I'm gonna end trip. I'm gonna re-engage. Well, no, hang on. Let me get around the corner here. All right, now I'm going to take my glasses off and I'm going to re-engage, and we're going to go, okay, neat. So argument could be made, either that's because I took my glasses off and it can see my eyes directly now, or it was within whatever time frame they gave the environmental warning after turning the system on an unsupported road, where it's not a divided highway, I should say. But again, come down here, go to lights, on, down, lights, auto, right. So if you stare at the screen too long, sure, it's going to nag at you. But if you've got your hand on the wheel properly, it really ought not be a huge issue. Oh, that was unnecessary. Go to the stop line. Alright, so there is traffic coming from the right and the left. Ooh, no. Don't go. Wait. So I don't like the angle this thing has put me at. It's very disrespectful. Nope, there is a car there. So that intersection is just problematic right now. I mostly blame the height of the road. For some reason, I feel like the way the road is structured and the height, it just can't see out left and right properly. And the way that it pivots, the way that it just pivots the car to the left is just, I don't know why it does that. It should be at a right angle to the road until it's ready to make the left turn. You know, if the road itself is not angled, there should be no angling of the car to make that turn. And I'm sure that construction barrels are half the reason why it's having visibility issues. Once the construction barrels go away, it'll be better. But for now, that's just all messed up. But again, I expect it when I go there. So again, I may or may not take over at this intersection because it doesn't like elbows. He's turning, so I can go. I'm going to hold the accelerator down. Alright, so that completes that. So we're going to say end trip. And I'm going to put my glasses back on. Okay. So Autosteer had like 2 audible warnings. When I was doing the map manipulations, FSD Beta had 1. I am going to remove my hand from the steering wheel again so that it says apply slight force. And I'll just demonstrate just how little force I need to apply to the steering wheel. So there's apply slight force. That's it. So I'll let it do it again. Okay, so 2 hands. There you go. It's very, very little force needs to be applied to the steering wheel. So if you're finding that you're applying force to the steering wheel and it's just not, that message isn't going away on its own, I honestly would open up a service ticket with Tesla and let them know. There can be a number of things that can cause that problem. I've had Autopilot act funny when my alignment is off. Because what I found is when you use Autopilot a lot, it keeps the steering wheel and the steering straight for you, right? So when you turn autopilot off, if you hold the steering wheel straight, you shouldn't go left or right. As you can see here, I'm not going left or right. But if you're holding the steering wheel straight and you go to the left, or you go to the right, like I just mimicked there, you got an alignment problem. And that's going to affect how FSD Beta behaves. So I'm going to turn the system back on. Navigate to TD on Alexander Street. Okay, that's on me. I looked at the screen. No, is it? I don't know. For all I know, I've recorded this and proven nothing. But to me, I don't find those audible warnings annoying. Well, let me rephrase that. The only issue I take with the current state of the audible warnings is they need to be clearer about whether the audible warnings are related to an environmental thing. Like, I don't know if that audible warning was because I glanced at the screen for a second and it was saying, hey, yeah, you should be paying more attention to the road, or if it was because I'm on an undivided highway, or just an undivided road, right? Like there's me here and traffic on the other side, and it's telling me this is technically not a road I want to. I don't officially support this road in the manual. I'll work here, but you need to pay attention, right? Like I don't know the difference between those. And to me, I would like to know the difference between this is going to count against your strike count audible warning and this is not going to count against you type of audible warning. Otherwise, you're just going to give me an issue where I'm like constantly concerned about whether or not you're going to wear me down with the audible warnings, like I'm going to be under so much duress about, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong, I'm going to just ignore them after a while or something, tune them out, and that's not what I want. There's legitimate scenarios where I want to have the audible warning. Now for giggles, I got my wallet. I'm going to pretend my wallet's a phone and put it up to the side of my head and we'll see what happens. Nothing. Let me take my hand off the wheel, put the thing up to the side of my head. Nothing. Okay, so either it knows it's a wallet or that shouldn't trigger a warning. But yeah, so, I don't see any particular issues with how it's working right now. If you're someone who is constantly fiddling with the screen, like again, if I hit car, lights, on, they're on, I can tap out of that. Car, lights, auto, down. No warnings, no nothing. My hand is on the wheel the entire time. What they would prefer you do, however, is... I'm going to start freaking people out if I keep flashing my lights out, but... turn headlights on. Oh, really? It's not available? I mean, technically you can just tap here and say on or auto, But the point is they want you to try and be more hands-free. And that's what you should be doing, right? Like if you're holding the phone up to your head, stop. Just set up the hands-free calling on the Bluetooth connection. Stuff like that, and it's I'm gonna risk it, but it's like for every person who's saying, oh, I just blocked the camera on FSD Beta or on Autopilot, I'm gonna block my cabin camera with my thumb. Oh, it's not. I thought for sure it would do something. Or not, apparently. Huh. Maybe they took that away. There it is. Okay. So, if you block the cabin camera with something, eventually, that will catch up to you. There is logic in the system to handle that. They just haven't turned it on yet. So if you keep doing it, you will lose it. you know? So I do not recommend blocking the cabin camera. The cabin camera? What the hell am I saying? I do not recommend blocking the cabin camera. You are just going to shoot yourself in the foot and everybody else in the long run. Let's see if that counted towards a strike. It did not. So that didn't even count as a strike. I still got my 5 strikes. So I don't know. I don't know why so many people are complaining about it. It seems to work fine for me. I get like 1. And how many did I get? Honestly, you know, and I don't even have a strike yet. So I don't understand what the whole problem is right now. And it takes very little force on the wheel. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.